Let's try this again. All righty there. Hang on one second. Just testing some stuff out. All righty there. Hang on one second. Just testing some stuff out. Awesome. All right, I'm going to share this link on my Facebook page next. All righty there. Hang on one second. Just testing some stuff out. Awesome. All right, I'm going to share this link on my Facebook page next. Okay. Sounds good there. All right. All right, now I got to figure out how I'm going to do this with this. So just bear with me one second. Sounds good there. All right. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this with this. Okay, great. Bear with me one second. All right. Well, I got two windows open here. Thank you for those for your patience while I get this thing set up. As I said before, for those who don't know, who might be seeing this a little bit later or watching this live, for those who don't know, my name is Donovan, but everyone usually calls me Foto Dono or Dono. You know, Dono was the nickname that I got, and Photo just got added to the end of it. And as you can see by the channel, for those who don't know, it's spelled Fotodono. I can't see the chat window on the YouTube right now. I'm not sure why that is. There we go. Now I can see it there. So if somebody chats in there, then they'll be there. I tried to start this a little bit earlier, but I got a little bit snagged up on some technical difficulties. Just keep in mind the signal that's coming that I'm as I'm recording this. There's a slight delay. There's about 10-second, 20-second delay on the YouTube channel as far as that goes. For those who haven't seen this particular bit before, thanks again for joining me, and I hope you guys will enjoy a little what I'm going to talk about today. The goal of these particular things that I like to do, that I've been calling Foto Dono Live, is that I'd like to basically just talk about photography and answer any questions anyone has. My goal is to try to do this about once a week, and mainly on Saturdays if I can do that, and keep on doing it and see how long I can do this for. As you might have bebopped and guessed, if you look around some of the YouTube stuff I've got some video stuff on a little bit of everything, you know, between macro, landscape, astro, some travel stuff, things like that. I started doing these webinars when I was furloughed from work in April, and it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed doing it. And, you know, you know, for me, photography is like one of those things I really love to do, and I really enjoy the process of it. But sometimes there's parts of the job that doesn't really work out well for me. But this part I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed teaching photography for over 25 years now. And I've been doing it in schools and stuff. It's all been private or through some sort of outlet, like through back in the days from Wolf Ritzkamer to now at Johnson Photo. I get to have the lofty title of Director of Education. So that's always a fun little thing to throw around sometimes. But mainly, it's just fun to teach folks about photography, especially those, again, who are just starting out and just looking for a little outlet for creativity. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of fun as far as all that goes. I'm hoping the audio is sounding pretty good with everything on here. So if not, let me know. I got someone watching now. I'm not sure who it is, but thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'll be putting some stuff later on in the description after this video posts. If anyone who's interested in helping me continue these endeavors, this part of this whole thing with the Foto Dono stuff is basically it's a separate endeavor. This is something I do on my own. I do it through, through my own auspices, through my own Foto Dono stuff where I do my own photography. So if anybody's interested, help support that. I have a Patreon channel now. I also have, if you wish to, you can also donate through PayPal if you wish to. Anything that helps out. Even if you don't decide to do that and you want to help out with some other way with somebody else, by all means, don't make it, make a small donation to your favorite charity as far as that goes. But the idea is to try to, hopefully teach, share some of my experiences and also hopefully pass on some of my knowledge with all this stuff. The reason I do all this stuff, at least the current reason why I do all my photography and all this artwork and all this other things that I've been doing of late is mainly because about 16 years ago I had a son, and now he's pretty much a young adult now, and I've been having thoughts about what's going to happen after I'm gone. I know it might sound kind of grim, but that's kind of the things that I think about sometimes, and what kind of legacy or stories I'd like to leave for him about his old man. So this is pretty much why I'm doing these things. So that way he'll have something to hopefully take with him as things move on. I don't know how long I'll be doing this for. I know this depends on the reactions I get from out there. I hope everybody enjoys the series that this one I'm going to be doing. I'm kind of starting this over. I'm doing. I was calling this Foto Dono Live Take 2 because of I tried to start this just a few minutes ago and it just went all kabakal. So now I'm back on it. So I'm trying to basically get it going. I kind of keep remembering to keep looking at the camera. That's one of the hard things about doing some things. I want to look at myself and see how I'm performing, or not performing, but how I look at it. But I keep looking down. If I'm looking down, I'm not looking at you. So I got to get ready to keep looking at you personally out there, So anyway, where was I? Yeah, so I had a kabakal with it was starting to start this up a few minutes earlier, but I was just going to jokingly call this Take 2, but I think that's what I'm going to call this because this is going to be a brand new thing that I'm going to be doing. This is going to be different with the pandemic stuff that I was dealing with before in the past. This is all going to be hopefully new stuff and things that hopefully that'll interest you. Like today, what I'd like to talk about, if it's okay with anybody else, if you guys want to pay attention to it, or if you can glean something from it, I want to talk a little bit about how I've been creating photos with my iPhone, or any phone. It doesn't really matter, but I have an iPhone 6, and I've been using that primarily to shoot a lot of my small little moments as far as it goes, and it has some interesting apps I'd like to share with you. Now, there's a lot of people out there that say phones, and you've heard this argument time and time again, is that these phones are not are not real cameras, quote unquote, and that's a bunch of bull. Real cameras are cameras. Camera's a camera. It doesn't really matter. It's a box that contains that captures light. That's basically about it. It all depends on the quality of the product you're trying to do. And what I mean by products, what's the end result of what you're trying to do? And typically 90% of everybody's using a phone just wants to be able to take a quick snapshot of their moments in their lives and share it with friends and family. That's basically about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing it that way. There's all sorts of ways you can do that and share and enjoy these moments with each other and be able to get these things going on. But I like to use things a little bit more, at least for me, I like to try to find a little bit different approach with some of the stuff. Some of it you might have seen already out there with some of my stuff I've done before. Some of you might see from other artists as far as that goes. But I've been enjoying the process doing it. Like the photo that's behind me right here on my virtual background is one that I shot with my phone. And when I had my print store open, this is one of the more popular prints that I sold that I shot with my phone, with my iPhone 4 for no less. So you know, and I really enjoy this phone. You'll see it a little bit later on when I do some screen shares and stuff like that. But like I said, I want to talk a little bit about how I create with the iPhone. Not necessarily about all the technical ins and outs, but certainly the experience and the impetuousness of how I approach it as far as that goes. And I'll show you some of the apps that I've done and stuff like that. This won't be too long. These things, these Foto Dono lives are generally about 30, 40 minutes. So I try not to be too long with any of this stuff because, you know, everyone's all got places to go, your beers to drink and stuff like that. Anyway, just to let you know, I am shooting this particular video at Johnson Photo Imaging. That's where I am, the Director of Education. I've been doing Uber Eats lately, and I was out doing my deliveries, and I figured I'd just stop in and do it here. I was originally going to do it from home, but it's kind of nice. They got lights. So it helps out a lot. All right, without further ado, let's go into some of the nuts and bolts of stuff. All right. When I'm, you know, for me, it's not so much the camera so much as the that I'm looking for in an iPhone. It's all the features and benefits that help me out, help me do my what I consider my own personal workflow. So, for instance, my phone is basically my communication tool. It's the way I share information with a lot of friends and family. But I also primarily also use it as a camera for those moments when I just don't have time to go out and get out my bigger equipment. It's a lot of fun. I can share some really great pictures that way. You know, lately I've been doing a lot of macro stuff. You know, when I go to the restaurant and stuff like that, I'll take a couple of pictures of my drink with my phone, you know, and do some edits with it on there. So it's a lot of fun. So I was going to kind of show you some of those things. What I'm going to try to do and see how it works over and translate into the YouTube. And as I'm pointing this way, I'm pointing to what I see on the screen where the YouTube is, what I can see on the screen. So let me go back to pointing this way. So let me see if I can share the screen and show you my phone, and then we'll go from there. So hang on one second. All right, so hopefully, there we go. All right, hopefully it's clicked on. I'm gonna see how it happens on here on the YouTubies. See what happens on there. Make sure it shows up. There's a black screen now. Ah, there it is, great. Awesome sauce, that's what I'd like to see. All right. So what you should see right now is again, this is all live. So any mistakes, foibles, bad jokes, inadvertent curse words, things like that, you'll hear them all. I wonder if I am the only one that's watching me. That'd be really funny. I'm going to upload this, by the way, to my Facebook page after this. So let's talk a little bit some of the things I like to do. Now with the iPhone, you can see there's a couple of different things that I've got on there. I've got basically camera photos. I have my old Zenfolio, which I don't use anymore. Plus I've got Instagram. I've got Lightroom, Photoshop Express, which is probably expected because of, photographer wise. And then I have something that's called Hipstamatic. I'm gonna swipe over. The other thing too is you'll see like a direct link to my my own website, Foto Dono. And then you see a couple of other apps. Those are apps that I've played with over time. Some of them I don't use as much. Some of them are just a little bit outdated as far as that goes. Like Slow Shutter, HDR, FX, 8mm Camera Plus, Pro Camera, Visco. And then of course there's Tintype, Vinci, which I've used a little bit more often recently, but it's like Photoshop, FX, and Tumblr. Like I said, I'm not going to go into all the little ins and outs of all these little things here, but I just want to kind of give you kind of like a little bit of an overview of how I normally do this stuff. Now, I do that. There's always another way of doing this stuff, but let's just start off with my favorite tool. My favorite tool out of all these apps, to be honest with you, is what's called Hipstamatic. Hipstamatic, you can download it for free, and it has little apps, not apps, it has built-in app purchases that you can use to download things. And what Hipstamatic is basically, it's a camera. Now, right now, it's going to show vertical, as far as that goes, so sorry about that, but it should work out fine. What the thing that's kind of cool about the Hipstamatic app is that it allows you to create unique little vintages or things about with old film styles. If you look, the camera looks like basically like an old film camera. Oh, great! I can see it on YouTube now, so it flipped over, so that's nice. So right now the camera is on a vertical axis, so it's not horizontal, so that's why that chair looks kind of weird and funky as far as that goes. But if you look at it, if you're familiar with an old film camera, it's got some film options on the back of it. One of the things I like about it is that you can even add an app built-in flash. You can use the flash, you can change the ISO, you can do whatever. But I usually leave that part alone. If you look right here on towards the lower left, I'm sorry, no, the top right of the screen where you're at. Well, actually, my screen, my face is coming out of YouTube. Right underneath my face, there's like a YouTube, and there's a big yellow button. The big yellow button we use to take pictures. This stuff right here is where I can change some of the options for flash, add a flash to it, do double exposures, things like that. And what's really cool about this thing is I can make some really unique photos with this thing. One of the things I like about this stuff is that, I'm going to get out of this for a second, and I'll show you this. One of the things that's cool is it allows you to switch your film throughout the whole entire thing. It gives you a whole series of films. So these are some of the ones that are basics, and then I also purchased some over the years, and I've been using this quite a bit. I've got quite a little gallery now of all my little photos and stuff like that. So I've been very happy with some of the choices that it's given me over the years. The one that I use the most of is the one I like. Is called the Kodak's one. Kodak one, sorry, Kodak one. I always get that confused with Kodak. But it's the Kodak one. The Kodak ones are very useful too. I like that one a lot. The reason being is because, and I'm going to take a quick picture of it and I'll show you. All right. Is that it gives this unique filter effect on there. You know, or I should say this neat little form, which basically it's like this little square. Oh, as I'm pointing to the phone, which you can't see off the screen. But the idea is when you see the picture come up, it's like you'll see like a little white border goes around the whole entire thing. So you can kind of see that. That's the thing I like the most. It does some really cool stuff. And the thing is, you know, you can't really control so much the aperture and the shutter as much as on this. They can't rely on the camera to do this. And in fact, this is a cropped version of the image that the actual phone captured. The phone is still capturing its full sensor length, which is that, you know, weird, not weird, but different aspect ratio, which I believe in phones is like a 4.5 or 4.3, something like that. But the idea is with this particular thing is it turns it into a square. And squares are very useful photos to share socially. For instance, you can share them on Instagram. That's the primary place where I share most of the pictures I take with my phone. There's also, of course, Facebook. Facebook does like square photos as well because it works well with some of their settings as far as it goes, especially online when you're sharing on a phone and things of that nature. So it's a lot of fun to kind of play around with this and see what you can come up with. So let me go back to some of the options on there. You know, like I said, I'm probably not explaining this thing pretty well as well as I would have liked. But I really, again, it's got some unique things, not only just with the film, but also with the flashes and stuff like that. So let me go back into the back thing right here. Now, over the years, I've bought a few flashes, and I kind of gravitate towards the one that it's on right here, which is called the Pop Rock. I don't use the flash as much. I do use a lot more available light, but again, the flash causes unique things and some really cool techniques as far as that goes. So there's like that. So I'm going to put that to my pop flash. Yeah. Now, the other thing too is that you can also change the skin of your camera depending upon what kind of choices you have available for you. Some of them you can get from Hipstamatic as a purchase, or you can use them on. Again, the purchases aren't that much, you know, a couple bucks here and there with most in-app purchases. So it's easy enough to get kind of excited about some of these things. But to be honest with you, I get these things when I buy the film. The film, because they usually sell them in sets. So you get like 4 or 5 rolls of film, you know, different film types, and you get maybe a camera base, and then you also get a flash or maybe something, a combination thereof, and which I like a lot. If I got time, I'll take it to the store as far as it goes. You know, but that's not important. The store itself is not important. The idea is you can do some really cool things with it. So I like this one a lot. You know, this little feature. That's what I'm used to. It works well with me, and I'm very happy with it. Like I said, we're going to leave it right now on because I like that one. I'm going to leave the flash on as far as that goes for that. So basically, when I go to take a picture, now, again, if I want to, I can change my ISO and make it really low, like down to 3. You can see how I can see the exposure changes dramatically on the whole entire thing. So by doing that, you can see some different choices as far as it goes. I'm going to put it back to A with the camera kind of figured out, which is fine for me. I'm not looking to do any over or under exposures type of stuff. As I said, you can do a thing that's called double exposure on there. So once you click that, you can do a double exposure. And there we go. And then what will happen is it'll create a double exposure. This is the best use of it, but you can kind of see that it's creating some sort of double exposure of the chair, of the building, and stuff like that. It's okay. That's not again, that's not the best choice. You can have a little bit more fun with that. Go back to camera. So if I want to turn the flash on, I could do that. You can't really hear it over here. It makes a little bit of a whine noise. So I could basically take that and the flash will go off, and it'll give me a little bit of a light source. Again, now it's not really changing anything in the phone itself. This is all done in behind the scenes as far as the app goes. The app is basically applying filters and algorithms to the actual image itself. And you know, some people say, "Well, isn't that cheating? Because can't you just do that in Photoshop?" Well, yes and no. I mean, the idea for me, it's about creating a certain effect. I know what I play with the effects. Yeah, some of these things are there's one cool thing that's kind of cool on this thing. You can actually shake I shake it. It goes on something that's called random, and it'll basically randomize all the other features, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of a unique little thing for the whole thing. But the thing is, for me, it's all about getting me out there and getting creative with my photography. One of the things I really like doing with my photography is I love being able to just create unique and different images. It's being able to go out there and just try something different, something new. And that's basically what I generally do. Is I love doing that type of photography. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it immensely, and it gets me out there shooting, regardless of where I'm at. That's the thing I like about that. The phone is just really small. I can take it wherever I want to go, and I'm good. Yeah. I'm going to go and I'm going to show you some of the pictures that I've shot over the years with this thing. So I've had this for quite some time. So some of you, if you've been following me around, you might have seen some of these pictures on Instagram because I share quite a bit from these particular results from Instagram. Now, some of these pictures are some I shot with the phone itself, and then I edited them in the Hipstamatic app. And the app actually has some really cool features where you can actually go back there and edit stuff. But it's kind of cool that you can see that all of these are all the pictures I shot just with the app itself. And that's what this is. So these are all the pictures that I've shot over the years with the app itself. Some of it, apparently, is a lot of drinking. There's a lot of drinking. They're mostly of the same beer at the time, not too many. There's my favorite one. There's my camera and a beer. Well, my old camera now. Stuff like that. Various pictures. This is probably my more favorite picture. This is my son shot with the Hipstamatic, which was pretty cool. I shot another one with my other camera. With my Nikon 610, and got some really good shots with him, also in the same place. But again, this particular picture, it's not about necessarily the effects. The effects only enhance what I've done with what I consider I've done with the composition. I framed it so I got the tree off to the right. I had him kind of kneel on this really pointy, sharp rock, which he said he was okay with. And of course, I got the light coming from the side, so I'm paying attention to that. The only thing that's it's kind of weird is he got a little bit of trees growing out from the top of his head, but there was only so much room you can do in it. And of course, I can go back to Photoshop and I can remove any of this stuff, but I just didn't feel like doing it on that one. And I just liked the expression on his face. I thought it worked out really, really well. He's a good kid. He's a good one. So kind of give you an idea of some of those other things too. Now this will embarrass somebody. That's my friend Lily right there. And it does a really cool job with some of the other effects too. And so for instance, I get really excited about light going through the glass and stuff like that. So you get some really interesting results when you start playing around with these things. One of the cool things right here, it even shows you on there what you use, the Kodak, uh, the Kodak, sorry, the Kodak film with the X-Grizzled, and you got the Tinto 884, which is the lens that I use for this particular shot. So you can kind of mix and match them up and try different results and things like that. So as I said, it's just a fun little thing for the whole thing. I just love it a lot. It works out really, really well. Yeah. Anyway, let me talk a little bit about some of the editing features on here, which is kind of cool. So the phone has some editing features, which really works out. So for instance, what if you didn't shoot it with the Hipstamatic? Well, you can actually go and tap the edit icon. Oops. Hang on 1 second. Did the wrong thing. Okay, there we go. So I'll go back to, oops. I'll go back to my pictures. I'm going to go to all photos. So I'm going to try to find a photo that I shot. That's kind of interesting. Let's see. Let's go up to, all right. Well, how about this one right here? So this is a photo I shot with my camera that I imported in my phone. So you can actually scroll through all your photos on your camera and pick the ones that you really like and want to edit with. So for instance, I can click on the editing tool, which is usually this, it looks like these 3 little circles. I don't know if I can show it on that, but it's like 3 little circles on there where you can see the, like right in the center of it. So if I click on that, it's going to load it up from the cloud, and it's going to give me some options. Now, like Instagram, it has several different ways of filters you can go about approaching on that, which is okay. But as I said, I have a certain look that I like, so I'm going to go for that. So I'll hit that little star to the very bottom on the right-hand side. If I tap that, I get more choices, which is really kind of cool. I can actually tap the film, and it's like I shot it with that already, which is really cool. I can then click on the down arrow and save that. I can go to the cropping action, and I can actually turn this into a square if I want to, which is really nice. Again, I like the square format, it works out really well. I can bring it in if I want to, move it around. So I kind of like that. It's not quite rules of thirds, you know, more of it's down there. If I really want to get more technical, I want to go do it down there, but I'm not a big fan of that top part of the sky. But I don't know, it kind of goes back and forth. Let's see, let's move it over just a little bit, see what this looks like that. No, that's not too bad. We'll leave it like that. So we'll go with that. So I like that little crop on it, and I like that little white border around there. Now you can, again, you can choose a different lens if you want to. And the different lenses simulate different types of lighting effects. For instance, if I choose like this lens right here, the next one in the bunch, you see how that changes it. And I think, well, why is the lens changing how it reacts to the film base? Well, again, it's simulating what these little toy cameras used to do back in the day. They weren't necessarily all ground the same way with the glasses and stuff like that. Certain different wavelengths reacted differently to the glass as well as to the film type that was being used. So again, I don't know how deep their research goes as far as that is, but it's really kind of cool and gives it that really unique analog effect, which I really, really like. And you can go around and choose a couple of different lenses. So for instance, as I said, I typically stick with this one. I'm a big fan of that one. The other one too is this one, which I like a lot. The other one too, it's called Pinhole. I don't use it as much, but I really like the idea that I can turn this into a pinhole picture just by a tap of the hand. And I thought that was really, really cool. Let's go back to that other lens. Yeah, you can see like it's got little light leaks on it, but I just don't like the way it handled that whole entire transition there. So let's go back to this one right here. Yeah, was it that one? Or was this one? Sorry, that one. Yeah, I like that. I like the way it looks. Now, if you notice that right above the lens that I selected, what it's got is like a little slider that I can go back and forth with. The slider basically allows me to either increase or decrease the lens effect of it, which you couldn't do back in the day. So I'm going to say right about there, maybe a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. There we go, like that. I kind of like that. That works out pretty well. I'm going to click the down here and save that. The next thing is called the sharpening tool. The sharpening tool basically allows me to make the picture super sharp if I want to. And it's really great, especially in social media, because again, sharpness on social media, I think really helps out selling some of the picture on there. Now I think I got a really cool, dark and moody piece, which really works out really well. Then I'm going to click on the save, which is a little check mark, the check mark, which is on the top right, or you can hit the X, which will then get rid of it. So if I hit the check marks, it's going to save it. And then it's going to ask me if it wants to modify the photo or don't allow to modify the photo. I usually tell it to modify the photo. These photos are already backed up, so if it's not backed up somewhere, if you don't have an extra one of it laying around, didn't make a copy of it, then by all means don't do that. You can click on modify. You know, if you hit don't allow, it's just going to basically, it can't be completed. At least on my phone, it can't be completed. So I have to click that, and I have to click modify. And it's going to save that. And it's going to basically override that old photo. It's not going to save that old photo. So that's the basic premise of that whole thing, is that it allows me to change it. And again, the photos on my phone, I don't care if they get modified one way or the other. This as generally as a rule, because if I modify them on there, that's fine. They're usually backed up somewhere else, so I don't have to necessarily worry about that. So there we go. I've got the photo and it's all set to go. And then what I'll do is once I'm done, I'll go back to my photos, on my photos, and look at my recents. Come here, you. And I have to find the photo now. It should be modified up in here somewhere. There it is. So there it is. Now, if I want to find it a little bit quicker on my photos, I have to make sure I put it in my favorites so I can find it later on. Now, I can also share it to my Instagram account from there if I want to do that and pop it up there. Or I can share it to Facebook, or I can message it and stuff like that. You know, I can go to Instagram and say, hey, here's a redo, a re-edit. I know, it's so exciting watching me type. From an early morning shoot. About 2 months ago, I think it was now. No, it's so exciting watching me type. That's, yeah. And then I click OK, click on share. And I think there was a typo in there. Yeah, hey, hers a re-edit. I'll fix that typo later. But that's basically about it. That's pretty much how I like to share the pictures on like Instagram. I like the effect because when I go to my feed now, to my Instagram feed, and I'll go to that in a second. Yeah. That's why it's kind of like that in there. Is I'll go to my feed, and what's nice about the whole thing is that it gives it now, everything's got a nice, unique kind of look about the whole entire thing. Yeah, there's some that obviously don't fit the look, but the majority of the pictures actually look pretty cool against that particular type of feed system, which I really, really like. Yeah, sorry about that, Christine. You probably weren't expecting me to do that. I wasn't expecting that either, but you know, it's live. What do you expect? So you can see there's some pictures that I went back and I re-edited like on, so this was one that I shot with my phone that I re-edited on the Hipstamatic. So I want to get this little picture right there and try to make it kind of cool with that. And there we go. This is the my quarantine mask picture. So anyway, these are some of the things that I thought you guys might be interested in. You know, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. You know, and I hope you guys have got a kick out of it. As I said before, I'm going to share this out there on my Facebook account once this video processes. It'll be out there. Stop sharing here. So you know, for me, shooting with all these pictures and stuff like that, and all these different types of cameras and things like that, it's really not a question of what camera is the best camera. It's whatever camera you've got in your hand. You know, one of the things I've always said to people, and this, especially dealing in retail, it really doesn't matter which camera you get. It really doesn't. The camera is just a tool. Now, if you're trying something specific, let's say you're a birding enthusiast or something like that, and you really want to start photographing birds, and you want to do it, and the details that you see from some of the other professional birding photographers. Well, you start doing research on the types of equipment used. Well, you have to start thinking, it's not the equipment that's not making them good, it's what kind of benefits and features that come with that particular equipment. So when you're trying to shoot with birds and stuff like that, and it's about speed and also focus tracking, and how quickly can you perform your reflexes on it. There are tools and features that help some folks out on some cameras. But I've seen some wonderful pictures that came to, through the storage API in the back of the day with Rich Wolf Camera and Cersei Camera Exchange back in the day, that they were shot with in all sorts of cameras. I mean, I saw incredible storm photos taken with throwaway point and shoot cameras. Again, these are some of the things that you guys remember. It's not the equipment as much as the photographer that's behind there and making these choices on there. Let me show you one more thing. I'll show you some of the other photos I've shot throughout the years, or a couple of photos I shot throughout the years, and then we'll let you guys go. Hang on one second. I think that's the one I want. Let's go to screen share. Let's see if it works. Here we go. All right, so hopefully this will show up on your screen on YouTube's. I had issues with this last time, so I'm trying to see how it works out. So let me give it a couple of ticks for it to catch up. There we go. All right, cool. So as I said before, this is a photo that I shot with my iPhone 4. And as I said, I've made this is basically I've turned this into a 12 by 12 and a 24 by 24 print. And it does a pretty good job. Now, if you look real closely at it, and you can see I'm kind of magnifying just a little bit, you can see that basically it's not necessarily the sharpest picture in the world. It also created some nice little softening effects of vignetting, a soft focus vignette around the whole thing, which was kind of cool. And this was not necessarily a throwaway picture. I was out there just hiking around with a friend of mine, Robin, and we were looking around, and we came across this old little building that was basically kind of fallen down. And I thought it was kind of cool. So I took some interior stuff, and as we were leaving, I was packing up my bag of stuff. And what happened is that as I was doing that, I saw this shot, but I already packed all my bags. Now, I could have unpacked and reset up, but it was really low to the ground where I was. So I just said, screw it. I took my phone out, put it to the Hipstamatic app, and I think I used one of the black and white films, obviously. I didn't modify it from there. Let's see if it's got the info here. No, it doesn't have that. It just says Hipstamatic has their own code on there, so it's Hipstamatic 260. So whatever that code is for that. But the idea is it allows me to do that. So it's kind of a fun little thing. I like it, and it worked out really well. Same thing with this. This again shot with the Hipstamatic app. Again, I've sold a few number of these prints, anywhere from 8x8s to a 2x2 size print, 2 foot by 2 foot print. Again, you can see it's not incredibly sharp or well defined, but the composition is what worked out for me. What the lighting was is that everything was set up. This was a still life that I found that I was going through some museum. This was a still life that was set up. It was kind of cool with the light coming from the window, this natural light, and it worked out really well. And I liked it very, very much. If you get really nitpicky, it's like, well, you're losing some of the text and stuff like there. Now, this is, price of the book. You can see it's like it looks like it says apple pie of some sort. But I've been calling this photo apple pie moonshine because there is a moonshine apparently called apple pie that's like 3,000 proof or whatever it is. So, stuff that'll actually literally, kill you. So you grow hairs on your chest. This was one I also shot. I like doing black and whites with this thing. It does a pretty good job. That's the other one I like to do. So this one's basically a landscape. Again, I shot with this one. I had a little bit of fun with this one. Actually, this one actually started out actually from my point and shoot camera, if I remember correctly. Yes, this is with the TG5 that I got. And what I did was I was walking out experimenting with it. And one of the cool things about some of the new cameras, it allows you to import these pictures into your phone while you're out there. So I was able to import it, and I ran it through the Hipstamatic app, and I was able to do some edits there while I'm there. So I thought that worked out really, really, really well. So let's see if we go to some other things that I did over the years. Let's see, spring break. Now we got synced photos. I think this is going to be mostly beer photos. Yeah, okay, we got more than just that stuff. Okay, good. So to kind of give you an idea. So these are some of the things, again, when I'm playing around with it, I'm looking for interesting things and different lighting effects and stuff like that. So again, not lighting effects, lighting situations, and trying to see how all this kind of works out. And I've been very happy with the results so far with these things. Again, I'm looking for interesting compositions. I'm looking for lines, looking for breaks in it. These are the things I'm looking for as far as that goes. Just looking for just different things when I can see on there. Let's see, is it C-Speed or Silver Guns? This was another one. No, macro. Let's see. Let's see. Nope, not there. There was one more. Where was it at? I think this one was. Nope. I thought I had one more I wanted to show you guys. Maybe it's in here. Let me look at the big pictures. Come here. See if I can scroll it down here. I kind of can't see the YouTube channel. Oh, that looks kind of weird now. Yeah, let me stop sharing and see what happens. Let me go back to sharing the screen again. All right, there we go. Looks better now. Let's see. I'm going to go to, let's see, where's a good macro one? Okay, no, not those, not those. Let's see, I think a good macro one. Imported it yet. Is this it? No. Let's see, where is that? I think it's one I just shot. I think I have to go to my phone if I want to see that one. Hang on. I'm bound to determine to show it to you. Get my phone real quick. Here we go. Yeah, these are some of the things that I've been shooting with it. So this is some of the things that I've been shooting with this phone and stuff. It's been having a lot of fun. And the thing that's really cool about iPhones is that you can do some really cool macro photos. And you can see it's not exactly perfect, but it does a pretty good job as far as dealing with the lens and everything else. There's a little bit of bokeh in the background. The thing that's really nice about dealing with phones, since the sensor is so small and the lens is so close, and it's like, really close to the sensor, you can get fairly close with these phones as far as the features go. It's just amazing how well the pictures look with all this stuff. Let's see, there's another one. Yeah, another abstract one that I was kind of playing around with, just to kind of show you as far as I look for things that are just kind of off kilter as far as that goes. And there is another one that kind of really show the example of it. Let's see if I can find it real quick. But not there. There we go. Should be up here. Yeah, here they are. This is what I was looking for. Kind of give you an idea of some of the macro. So this is the black and white macro that I was kind of playing around with as far as that goes. Some really cool effects that you can create with that stuff. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and hopefully it wasn't too static. And as I said, I looked at try to do some more of this stuff later on. I think oh, this was a fun one right here. Yeah, that's actually I've been able to screw into my own little artwork as far as the creations go. As far as it goes, it was kind of a unique little thing. The sawdust was kept building and building up on it, so that's when I took a picture of it. Little things like that. Yeah. I know that's a scary one day. No, we'll stop there. Anyway, well, listen, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been yapping around now for 46 minutes, so I'll end it on this point. As I said before, if you guys are interested in some of the other things, or if you want to ask me some questions about other apps that I use, any of those other apps on there, I'll be glad to do that. I think next time I am going to talk a little bit more about some of the tools that I'm using for Astro Photography. Next time, I think I'm going to delve into PhotoPills. I really like how the phone kind of interacts with some of the stuff that's on there, so it worked out pretty well. So maybe I'll go through some of those features and talk about them in a little bit more greater detail. As I said, I'm trying to keep these things down for about 30 or 40 minutes. If you'd like to, again, you can always go to my website at www.fotodono.com. There's links on my YouTube channel for that. You can also go to, again, my Instagram account. It's FOTODONO. Facebook, same thing, FOTODONO. Just like the name on this particular channel. Well, not yet. YouTube says I got to have over 100 subscribers if I want to do something as cool as that. If I want to name the channel from it. So if you don't mind, click and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. That way, every time I do these live things, I'll get an update on these particular things. Again, thank you all very much. I appreciate you guys taking the time, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Oh, and by the way, just to let you know, when some of you might be asking about the outfit that I wear. This is something I kind of put together. I've been ordering these batik shirts, and I really like them. I think they're comfortable and stuff like that. And then my dad gave me this chapeau, and I started wearing them during the pandemic, and so I did one webinar without them, and then every time I don't wear this stuff, everyone wants to know why I'm not wearing the outfits, especially Margaret. Yeah, so this is basically my getup as it is for that, and we'll go from there. The other getup that I get to wear too is when I'm doing my Uber Eats delivery. I pretty much wear the same outfit, but this is my that's my extra bit of that. So I get some interesting results from that for customers. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot. As I said, if you want to, you can go to my website. You got links to all my Patreon stuff from down there. If you click on About Me there, if you click on About Classes and Workshops that I'm teaching through Johnson Photo, you got links from there. You also go to jpiphoto.com, click on that. There's a bunch of webinars coming up. There's some really cool things. Tamron's doing a couple webinars that are coming up in a couple of weeks here. That's going to be interesting. We're going to have some other guest photographers that come and do some webinars for us. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to take advantage of some of the changes in some of the mandates for some of the public health and safety issues, and try to do an outdoor event. So we'll see how that goes. So like I said, lots of cool things that are coming up. As we said, we're rolling things in through trying to get things going. So we'll see how it all pans out. Again, I thank you all very much for your indulgence, and it's a little vanity project of mine. And again, thank you. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and be well and stay safe. Thanks.